Hey guys, your guy John coming at you with another Union Arena video. On today's video, what we're going to be going over is the Lancelot Code Geass Volume 1 kind of rush slash meta deck. I kind of been running this a little bit. It's one of my favorites up until Demon Slayer came out. So I kind of want to cover this one a little bit and talk about it. I had a lot of fun with it, but I noticed there's a lot of variations out there. I kind of wanted to make this video to kind of talk to you guys about the variation that I'm running. Also, I will be providing several resources to go along with this deck build. For example, I will have links to the EX Burst link so you can follow along as far as notes and get all the data that you're looking for on that, as well as there will be a actual PDF that will kind of go down this list here. It should be, I think, to my left, maybe. I don't know. However that worked out. But I'm going to kind of go through that and give like a deck summary, show you guys the deck build itself, how to play it, so to speak, and kind of just some top things to remember about it. I know a lot of times we play a lot of different decks out there, and as we keep adding new decks, we kind of forget about like how we played the old ones, right? Or pick it back up again and would really like it, like kind of refreshers, right? So I put together this graphic to kind of help with that as well, so that way you can just kind of look at it briefly and go, yep, okay, yeah, I remember this deck, I remember how this plays, and then go ahead and play it, have fun. So stay tuned. Hopefully this video doesn't drag out. This is kind of my first one of doing it in this series. Please give me feedback, guys. I'm looking for any feedback because I'm kind of an engineer, so the way the brain works, this is the way I like to present information, but I want to make sure it works well for you guys too that's trying to get the information. So without further ado, yeah, let's go ahead and dive right into the video. All right, so let's go ahead and dive right into this, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of reference the PDF that's going to be kind of attached to this video with several other resources during this video, and just kind of go over all the information that I can. So we're going to go ahead and start with the deck composition as it is. You will notice here that we are running pretty much all of the Suzakus. We are running a lot of 2 energy cards in this particular build. The reason being is I kind of bricked out a lot at the beginning when I was first playing the deck, and I noticed that the more energy that I increased and level loaded like the lower half with my 0s and 1s with like the zero or with the double energies and whatnot, or the filtering, it helped me really quickly get up to 3 energy to then get all the 3 energy drop, like two energies and such, that really synergize well with the deck. So essentially, once you get those like 3 energy out on the energy line, you can play 3/4 of the deck and go. So it is kind of fast to come online as far as like actual playables, but as well as it lends itself to a few like rush strategies if you are like an aggressive player, or if you just enjoy like the concept of like how the deck plays, right? Because it is kind of rude in some aspects, but it's also just a lot of fun because it's fairly straightforward gameplay here. Some cards I want to kind of highlight here are going to be like the Jeremiahs. I know this is not necessarily prevalent in a lot of other builds. I personally really like to run the Jeremiahs only because he does have double block and he's step, so he's a 3k body at 3 energy that you can play on the front line for as a blocker, right? As a quick blocker, especially for like a turn 2 blocker or higher. And then step, so you can just come right back, but he's 2 energy, right? So it makes him pretty versatile in that lane. So I like to run 4 of them. There are options where you could potentially like take out 2 Jeremiah and put in like an All Hail Britannia, especially if you feel like this deck may lack the impact that you need against some of the opponents that you're facing locally or whatnot, depending on how you tweak your own decks, right? We all have different play styles, so that is something you could potentially swap out here, but I really like to run the 4 Jeremiahs just for the versatility, if I'm honest. Same with the Villanettas. I know a lot of people won't run these as well. Personally, I like to be able to have my deck play just consistently against others if I can. I like the fact that this card itself has like an early play type ability, right? Where you can reduce the energy cost depending on what type of deck you're facing. So because of that, I feel like it gives you kind of the upper hand or a leg up, and it lowers this 0 to 1 cost. So we're already sitting at like a 10-0, 9-1 deck. But what it does is it kind of lowers that and then starts giving you some 2s, right? So now you're in some 3s going to 2s. So now you're getting a little bit more playability. Once again, you're just not going to brick. You're going to be able to get just constant flow, which is just kind of just fun, right? Like we always want to play and win, but it's just always just good to be able to just play cards and jam, right? Have a good time. So I love to run that card as well. It's a good mix up for that. You will notice I am running Britannian soldiers as well. This is, once again, I'm running this because I like to have the extra triggers in life. You can run other cards as well. It's not that big of a deal. Overall, though, I'm going to go ahead and hop over to the summary here of the deck. Deck is very beginner friendly, suitable for tournament type plays. We are leveraging 4 impact cards, and I think we have 8 damage 2 cards. And we have very good playability in general. Right now, this deck can be really, really good and strong in some aspects, and then kind of others it can be a little weak. So you kind of really got to pay attention to how you play it. Only because you know pretty quickly oh yep, I should win, or oh nope, this isn't going to work out. So it's just one of those types of decks, and I feel like a lot of them are in the genre anyways, so don't necessarily get deterred by it, right? I did make this graphic to help you guys as well understand how to play it a little bit better. So one of the great mechanics that kind of comes with this deck is the fact that you have 2 Yufis on the front line. You have a Suzaku on your energy line. Now this Suzaku particularly has the ability to where once a Yuffie dies, he can move forward. So, for example, you always want to run the 1-drop Yuffie because she redirects kill spells, right? Effectively, kind of like a hex proof from hand against your opponent's kill spells, right? So she gets targeted, dies. This allows Suzaku to move forward, so then you still maintain your full board state. Also, if you were to block out with one of them, you can once again push Suzaku forward and you're good to go. I'll go ahead and later on in the video, I'll show you guys a quick play hand. That's a great starting hand as well, and kind of how to play it. And you'll kind of see where I talk about this strategy as well. Also, just something to note, the 6-drop Lancelot is very powerful. So he comes in at the 5k with the damage 2. He's always damage 2, even if you don't necessarily raid him. So he's also like Renji Rush. You can just play him on the front line and then move him forward. And actually, if you could get him on the back line, you'd want to do that. So that way you can ready him and then move him forward in the next line. So that way he can't be killed or targeted, right? Especially if you're talking early play. But he's like the best one for raiding on your higher drop Suzakus. And the reason being is because when he dies, on death effect is add a Suzaku to hand. So what this allows you to do is get the Suzaku, the 3 energy one that's a draw card, add back to hand, or the 4 energy one, which once again he combos really, really nicely with here with extra board and blocking deck state, right? So really, really good card combos to pay attention to and note. Also on this graphic, I went ahead and threw the card modification options, like just depending on your play type here, and we're going to go ahead and go into those right now. So when we say card swap modifications, what I'm talking about here is depending on the way you play and your play style, you may have different playables that you really want to throw in here, right? You may not play the exact same way as I do. So what I've done is I've kind of laid out and explained what my thought process was and why I'm running it. But I've also laid out other ones where I could see coming from other people's perspectives, how they like to play it. Now, this is once again 100% my interpretation. Leave comments down below if you feel like I'm wrong or if I misunderstood something, or if you think there's a better combo out there. I'd love to hear it. I just really want to see the engagement and have fun with this, guys. For example, this particular deck, we are running the Britannian soldiers. Like I was saying, there are other options. The way I see this is you do have kind of a strategic option and you have an aggressive option, right? You have a strategic option with Kuel, and you have an aggressive option with Jeremiah. The reason being is Kuel will allow you to nullify impact, and Jeremiah is step. So that alone really could help you or help a lot of people out there if you're struggling against high impact type decks coming at you, or if you just want to be aggressive as well, because once again, Jeremiah is a 0 with step. However, be aware the 0s with step, it seems to be every time I ever play them, or some of my counter or like friends at the game, the LGSs play them, they always get killed first, and then it totally screws up their energy lines. So just be aware of that. So those are definitely some modifications that I would recommend. Something else that I've noticed, and we have a couple guys in our community who also run Lancelot decks, and their variations are completely different than mine. I played them, they do play well. So there are other variations that play just as well as this one, if not better. It's really just your play style and luck of the draw, right? Consistency of the cards. But one of the things that I personally really like is running 2 unit maintenances and 2 Lloyds. The main reason being is because of the Lloyd, I now have an additional 1 energy, which is once again lower my barrier to entry, which then allows me to do some filtering, right? Play and search for a mech, discard card. Unit maintenance is objectively the better card, only because if you do take a mech, it's a free play, right? So it's still the same filtering. You take the mech, but you get your AP energy back, so it allows you to keep going, right? So this is really, really nice for, once again, rush decks or fast mechanics. So if you want to play more aggressively, you might want to go ahead and run 4 maintenances. Now, if you want to be less brickable, because you played this, and you just keep bricking out, you may run 4 Lloyds, only because you still satisfy the filtering, sort of, but now you're lowering, once again, your energy cost and playables on the board. So, and he's blockables, right? So as soon as you activate his effect, you just push him forward and get rid of him, right? You don't want 1 energy on your energy line. You always want to maintain 2 energy characters on your energy line, especially with newer sets coming out, because a lot of the sets will let you manipulate energy lines. However, they don't usually ever let you target 2 energy plus targets. So if you have 2 energies on your energy line at all times, there's less chance future proofing this deck for manipulation in that aspect. So you always want to push the Lloyd forward and then let him die. Deck strategy. So like I was kind of saying when we were looking at this deck here, I do run an exorbitant amount of 2 energy cards. So I run the Suzakus, Jeremiahs, Villas, VVs to get as much double energy on the field as possible. Now, I tried this with the Yuffie with the 3-drop, and I have seen people play the Special Corpse head trailer, which will also kind of get you that energy super fast. I feel like this is just more consistent because at least the bodies here are blockers, right? So we're talking on 3K bodies here for the higher energy ones. And it's pretty common to where you can just push forward a 2 energy if you need blockers, because you have enough that you're going to be able to replace it, right? So they do make nicer masses, so to speak, for me for blocking. So I do like to run them more so than the other ones. Now, don't forget that the mech itself, right? So when we talk about the mech, we're talking about this Lancelot here. Don't forget that the Lancelot himself is a kill spell. So when we play Lancelot, what happens is one, he's damage 2. He's always damage 2, whether you rate him or don't. Same as the 6-drop. But when you play him in rated state, he gets impact and damage. And when played, choose target character 5,000 less BP and sideline it. So it's a kill spell, right? Kind of a broken one, honestly. He comes in 8 energy with impact, damage 2, and then kills something off your board. That feels bad. And he's only 1 action point. So, and it's super fast to get 8 energy because of all the 2 energy cards out there, right? Like the double Suzakus, everything else. It makes it super simple to get these cards out. So make sure when you're playing that you kind of adapt that play style of knowing like, hey, I'm going to play him and I'm going to go ahead and kill this card as well. This is going to be a subsequent play, usually that you want to do towards the beginning of the turn more so than the end of the turn, only because sometimes we don't know our opponent's cards very well. Maybe we target the wrong card and it's on death effect, really screws up your turn. You don't want to finish with this grand move and then everything blow up, usually. Just side thought. So keep that in mind. So we're going to go ahead and talk about next the best starting hands for the deck itself. So there's a lot of different options, a lot of different ways to play this. I think it's going to be advantageous if you always want to start with like a 0 and a 1 in hand. I think that's a good rule to get or to kind of remember, utilize, only because you have so many 2 energies again, and the fastest, the quickest you get to 3 energy, the more playables you can play. So you kind of always just want to have that, and as long as you have the 0 and a 1 in hand, you're usually good to go. You might mulligan here and there if you have like everything else, like all your kill spells, all your lives are in your hand. You want those in life as well, so it is worth mulliganing. When you have not necessarily a playable hand, but when you have a hand that like you would rather have those cards in life than you would have the chance of playing them from hand, right? So keep that in mind as well. So for example, on this with this particular deck, if you can get a Yuffie in hand and you can play that immediately, you definitely want to play the Yuffie as quick as possible, especially the 1+ energy one, only because you can then activate her to get 3 energy faster if you need it, right? So it makes you unbreak your hand faster. 0 drop Yuffie and a Lloyd or a Vivi is like the ideal premium hand start that you can get. You want to try to play these guys if you can. 1, let's just search, hopefully get a mech. So now you're going to start building up. And 2, hopefully an early play if possible. If not, once again, 3 energy. It's super fast to play. If you get to round 2 and you can get to the 3 energy mark, if you can play the Jeremiah on the front line, always recommended. Always. Great blocker at 3k BP. Once again, double block. Can't go wrong with it. So essentially you want to try to play all of the cards that you can, like this, by turn 3. So next what we're going to talk about is kind of like the opening plays, so to speak. So I just kind of went through a little bit of like a turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 deal with the cards that you kind of want to play. That's a little rushed. I apologize. I'll have to recircle back on how I wanted to portray that. Definitely look at the document. It'll kind of show it maybe a little bit better light for you guys. But so opening plays, I'm going to go ahead and switch to my actual table mat camera here. Only because I think it's gonna be better if I actually show you guys like a actual playable hand and then how I would play it and kind of walk through this, right? So let me go ahead and swap that over here. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about an opening hand. So here on the screen, you can see I have simulated a starting hand on EX Burst. I like to do this a lot, actually as often as I can with any deck building, only because it really allows you to kind of see what you're going to draw into and how to play it and maybe think about it a little bit. I know he has a development coming too where you're actually going to be able to like play a little bit of like cards on the playboard to walk through card steps, which I think is going to be really helpful. So let's go ahead and dive into it. So on a play like this, like when starting with your hand, this is ideally one of the best hands you can get. And the reason being is because if you go first or second, you're going to be set up for success. But ideally in a situation like this, I would like to go first. And the reason being is because getting the 3 energy as soon as or 3 AP, as soon as you can get that, you're going to be swinging hopefully with the damage too, or doing quite a bit of damage to the life. So a hand like this, realistically, sure, your first energy or first AP, you're only going to be able to play a Yuffie, right? So you play the Yuffie 1+ energy here. So when you rest her, she's going to go up to 2 energy. You turn pass, they play whatever they're going to play. They're not really going to be able to affect anything yet, right? We're at the beginning of the game. You come in here and turn 2, you get the 2 AP. So what you do is you first play the 1 VV. You have to bounce the card back in hand, place the Yuffie again, turn pass, and then on your next turn, now you have 3 energy here as well as up to 4 energy. So what this means is you have some options here on how you really realistically want to play this. So what you could do is you could play a Jeremiah up front and another Jeremiah up front and have 2 blockers here without cracking a Yuffie. Once again, this is very easy to do with the 2 AP. The other option is you could simply place 1 Jeremiah up front as well, crack the Yuffie, and then place the Suzaku back here for 4 energy. At the end of turn, she would go to sideline, he would push forward, at which point readying, they both have step and they can move backwards. But the point of doing this one is because he's at 3,500 BP. So if you have your opponent who has, maybe they played a Jeremiah as well, or another 3k energy on the front line, or 3k BP on the front line, you can then have a blocker on the field to go ahead and stop the hemorrhage there for taking life. So that's why that's kind of important, and another just quick fun way to play it. So now this would be turn 3. You probably drew a couple of cards that could have went decently well for you. But you'd have 2 attackers here, 1 with double block, 1 without, so you could easily deal with up to 3 opponents on the front field by the 3rd turn. And then hopefully you're getting a mech at some point, you bring them both back here, and then you can go ahead and place the Lancelot here, raid forward, and do your double damage, and have a 5k blocker on the reciprocal turn. So That's typically how I would like play a hand like this, and that's what I would be thinking while I'm playing. Also, don't forget, you just always, if you can, guys, make sure you can play the Euphies to the front lines as often as you can. If you have the Suzaku in hand, you can play them in the energy line. It's just an effect that catches a lot of people off guard as well, because most people forget to read the bottom of this card, so they forget that, oh yeah, if one of these dies, he can go forward. And there's a lot of applications where you might want to do that, whether it's double blocking, if you're dealing with multiple attackers, if you're trying to counter a Demon Slayer deck, super helpful. Or if you're just getting kill spelled left and right, it's just great to just have blockers on the front. So that's going to go ahead and do it as far as talking about the starting hand and how I would play it here. I think the last thing that we're going to close here with, guys, is just talking about what is this deck really good for and used for. How well does it play, and what is its let's say kryptonite, so to speak. So one thing that I want to touch base is essentially this deck it's strong against rush decks and mid game decks. It might be just a little bit more weaker against rush decks if you don't get a good first play, or heavy impact decks can also be a problem because you don't really have any null impact in this deck. Sometimes kill redirect or kill spell to hand hexproofs, like especially like the Garo deck with the red and others, that does also add a layer of complexity to this deck when trying to play it. But at the end of the day, I think it's all works well. I think it's really just about what's your play style, how well you enjoy playing it, and just having fun, right? This is sort of a kind of a meta deck up until the other sets came out. When it was up to like the code release, this was very common to see in the code. This one in like a Gwaine variant for the most part. But overall, I really enjoy the deck itself, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun for me. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, and please leave me feedback. I'm kind of new to getting started into like TCG content, so I'm not really familiar with a lot of this. I'm actually making this content as a result of I couldn't find it elsewhere. So yeah, leave comments down below. I'd love to follow like nice consistencies with deck builds like this and same flow, so that way we can make sure that everyone knows how to play this game and can all play it equally. So thanks guys, have a good one. Peace.